The natural way of things is that things cycle, that we move through things, and we move like, or you could say, in our tradition, we move around the medicine wheel. We move through the process of healing. We move through the process of intimacy and getting to know each other better. And it cycles. And it's a little bit of a some sine curve sometimes, where there's ups and downs to those cycles, you may have noticed. And so one of the things that happens is so I'll take let's just say, so when someone goes into grief or a depression, different things, but we'll do our sine curve is where they go down. There's a trough of feeling that you're feeling, your mood becomes lower as you're in this more depressive or wounded or sad phase of grief or whatever. And if you stay open to the healing process, you naturally move through that. A depression, you naturally move through a depression. It's not like just a state that we hang in. There's sometimes the depressions that we get stuck at the trough of that cycle and we stay in it, but that's not the natural way of moving through something. And so if we're in a practice, okay, and whatever that is, we meditate or we go to a sharing circle, or as I talked about last week, or we're in a process where we're in touch with what's going on inside of us and we're in touch with our cycles a little bit, we can notice that we can allow ourselves to go down into the healing process of the sadness or the loss and keep moving through it. Or if we're in an existential depression, we go through it and then we allow ourselves to come out. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to get stuck along the way. That's what happens, is people get stuck and then they stay depressed, or they stay in mourning, or they stay sad, or whatever. And so one of the things that's relevant to this, is I want to address, is the fear of feeling. Okay, and one of the fears of feeling is, I'd say the primary one in my opinion, is that if I feel this big powerful thing, say I feel this loss or this wound or this sadness, if I allow myself to feel this thing, that it's never gonna stop. And we often have this memory of when we had our heart broken, or we had a loss when we were younger, and we opened our heart and we were a mess for the next 3 years or something. And then we said to ourselves, well, I'm never going to go there again, And, but the reality is because things cycle, if we do allow ourselves to feel things, then we're open, and then we're going to move through the process, and we'll move through it. And then even as early as a week or two later, we're not going to be feeling that thing as acutely, or maybe not at all anymore, because we've moved through it. And the fact that we allow ourselves to feel it and to express it, perhaps in a sharing circle like I talked last week, we allow ourselves to share it, and we work on it, and we let the energy of it out, then we move through that thing, and then we're no longer in that feeling anymore. We're not trapped by it. We're not going to spend the rest of eternity in that sad feeling, which is exactly what it feels like right before you share it. It's like, if I allow myself to really surrender to this, it's like kind of doing something that's totally counterintuitive. It's like the reality, if you surrender to the feeling and let yourself feel it fully, our fear tells us, if I do that, I'm doomed, it's never going to stop. The reality is, when we do that, it allows us to get back in the process and move through it. So we tend to hang out on the edge with maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out, where we're feeling it, but we don't want to really, we're afraid to really release to the feeling, because we're afraid it won't stop. So we just stay stuck in it. So then we stay on the bottom of the trough, if you will, of the sine curve, and we're stuck there, and we can't move through it because our energy's all dammed up because our heart's not open. We're not allowing ourselves to release to it. And so then we just stay there longer. So the actual 180-degree opposite thing happens and it self-creates. And then we're like, see, I knew if I felt that feeling, it would never stop. Well, the reality is you didn't let yourself really fully feel that feeling. And that's why it's not stopping, because you're stuck in the feeling. You're stuck, it's just like if you let yourself just rip the Band-Aid off fast, let yourself feel the thing, then you'll start moving through it again. But it does not feel that way when you're there. It feels like it will never stop. So it requires this act of like, you could say faith. I like the word trust, is trusting that I'm going to risk. It requires some risk. It's like, I'm going to surrender to this thing. I'm going to see what's there. I'm going to trust myself and the people that care about me and my support folk. And we're going to get through this thing. And it feels like if I do that, it's never going to stop. But that's so be it. I just need to know what's there. And I'm tired of being halfway into this feeling. And that's when it crosses over. But it takes a lot of courage and a lot of trust that if I allow myself to fully feel that, maybe it's a breakup or a heartbreak or a wound or a, whatever, or a loss. If I allow myself to fully feel it, often it's like I'm gonna be stuck in it forever, and that's not been my experience with myself and with the clients that I've helped guide through these types of things. So that is my video for this week, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your week. We're moving into February now. The days are getting longer. Still a good time for introspection, however, which is why we're having blogs like this. And so as you go through your week, and maybe consider allowing yourself to fully feel what's going on, and notice if there's a fear of feeling there, and acknowledge it and say with it, it's like, but I'm gonna do this anyway. If you're feeling like you want to take a risk, a healthy risk, we'll call it. And I will see you in a week.